Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Lines. Lines. I said it again.
There are multiple lines?
There are multiple lines again because we got another person here. No, never do that again.
But wouldn't it have been lines anyways because there's two of you?
No, it's another line.
It's the line between us?
I did that bit last time. Okay, let me just start over. Okay, save face. Welcome back to another episode of...
Breaking the Lines?
Stop! Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Line. Taking a deep dive into the arts of mime and choreography.
I'm Charleton.
I'm Samuel.
I'm Rosalie.
Welcome back to our guest. Episode number 3 weeks in a row, man.
3 weeks in a row.
It's really nice having another guest here.
Yeah, I know. We're doing like 40 weeks in a row where we have nobody as a guest, and then 3 weeks in a row we have Rosalie. That's great.
If you're interested in being a guest and you think you're somehow qualified, well, you're probably qualified, but just
the bar is really low. Yeah. It's on the ground,
hey,
right?
Now.
No, even if you're visiting in San Diego, or heck, if you want to just Zoom and call, we'll figure a way to get you on here. Be fun. If you have a song you want to talk about, let us know. But with that, today we have actually an extra special episode. We've kind of been avoiding sign language songs in our mime stuff because neither of us are experts. Like, we know sign language. We, use it, have used it for a while. But Rosalie here actually has a degree, right?
Oh, yeah. So fancy.
You want to give some of your sign language experience? I mean, you got an associate's, right?
Yeah.
But you actually did got paid. People paid you money to interpret.
Yes.
So you were actually legit.
Actually legit.
And so, a song today is "Living for Today."
Oh, no, it's just "Live for Today," not "Living for Today."
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to change the file name later, but it's "Live for Today." Hey, I'm living my life for today. Okay, Anyway.
Do I need to grant you that one?
Because it's
my Natalie Grant.
Stop.
Anyway,
stop.
I'm not ready for that.
It's been a long day.
Hey, mash that like subscribe. Anyway, so
too many bits. I can't handle all the bits. But when was this song choreographed? Because I believe you choreographed this one. That's right.
Mostly. So back history. Every year in California, we got all the teams together. Several day camp. Had a whole lot of teams teaching each other songs, but we would also break up into classes of mime, sign language, flags, music, drama. They changed, but we always had mime, sign language, couple ones like that. And so this was the sign language class for the year. I taught it, and I picked this song, had the general, outline of the song, but the class itself has a lot of gives a lot of ideas into choreographing the song.
Yep, I remember driving around with you. Well, you driving me around, sports practice and all that with the CD playing in the car.
Nonstop.
Yes, and no, you sign language while driving. Don't recommend it, but I do remember this.
Are we alive?
We're here.
We're here.
We might have been going 80 or 90 on the freeway, but we were here.
That's how you know you're really getting into a song. When you're driving like 100 miles an hour and you don't realize it.
I've never
Not that I've ever done that.
No, of course not.
Never. In California.
For legal reasons, I have never done that.
I think that's all the backstory. So let's do the song. Well, we got this at our classic Rosalie, Kansas back chapel area.
Yeah, this is before they repainted, so it's got that nice wood look, which then they just repainted with green paint.
Yeah, it's for a kid's classroom.
It's a kid's classroom now, so it's fine. But I think this looks.
It's nostalgic for me because my first mission trip, one of the first stops was coming here. So I remember being in the back and working on some duct tape armor of God for our Bible stories. Yeah, part of the reason why we haven't covered sign language song is because it's really hard to demonstrate or talk about the accuracy. So I don't know if you have any comments on how to do that.
I know one thing that I do like seeing in sign songs is the way people get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because given that you're doing signs and stuff like that, it's really easy to just do the signs and then call it a day. Whoever that is now currently on the very far left, she, you can tell, gets into it, gets into the rhythm of the song, moves whole body with it, and I just really appreciate that. Several of these people do here too.
Yeah. I like that sign, shoes.
I mean, it literally means option.
Right? No. I know that's tricky with sign language because obviously it doesn't exactly correlate to English.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of a weird stigma with sign language songs, because sometimes doing the actual literal song or sign for the song doesn't work. So you'll maybe mix it to be more, you might say, figurative language. Like, for example, to say God, you might not actually sign the word God, you might just point up to God, which is not saying God, but it works because like it makes sense visually, and that's really what's more important than, you could say, literal accuracy.
Well, I mean, one thing I really tried to bring, because I taught the sign language class several years in a row, and there was a lot of sign language songs that was not ASL, it was...
C sign?
Yeah, signing
exactly.
the words. And so I was trying to bring a little bit more of the grammar to it, a lot more facial expressions, which in ASL, that's how you do all of your grammar.
Yeah.
It's basically like tone.
Yeah.
Like vocal tone is your face in sign language.
So like when we get back to the chorus, you'll see some of it. They're missing some of the signs. That's one of the hardest parts is sign language songs as they get passed down to other teams. Tends to lose a lot of those little details. And so this is actually only one iteration after, because we did it at camp and then this mission trip brought it on. And several of these girls were in that class.
No. But staging wise, part of what you can do with a sign song is just how you position people. So even that little rotation around the chair was good. Really cool effect.
Right, and like the how here just a moment ago they kind of like the two on the sides kind of switch places. Right. Simple things like that.
Or worry about the past. Like I like there's some, would you say, artistic liberties when it comes to ASL?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of what ASL is facial. And so like this is a rhetorical question here. It's saying I'm gonna lift how for today, which they're missing the for.
Right. But that would be the idea where it's trying to include that grammatically correct idea.
And then here's just girly things.
Girly things.
Squad goals.
Squad goals.
Which again, the original team or class was what, probably 25 or so?
A little different flavor with more people, obviously.
It fades out a lot faster there. There's a little bit more of that song, but
Zelda.
It works.
All right, purpose and message of the song. Well, purpose was a sign language song for the class. We already kind of talked about that. But what would you say the message of the song? That why did you choose this song other than it being a nice, cool boppy song?
It went with the theme of the camp.
Oh,
what was the theme?
Yeah. Well, do you remember what the theme was?
I don't know.
But it was part of that theme.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
I remember. That's too long.
Any thoughts of where you put this presentation lineup or kind of its general flow?
So like something that I kind of like default to with sign language songs is these tend to go near the beginning. Now I say near because I wouldn't say at the beginning. Usually the more upbeat types of sign language songs I might put at the actual beginning. So this one maybe, but I would say I'd put it in like the first half of a lineup, mostly because it kind of like gets the flow in. You got like a good visual aspect. But this song, well, this is I think a really good song, like music wise, has more of a mellow flow, which is why I wouldn't put it closer like actually at the beginning, which is more upbeat stuff. Instead, you get it closer to where you're transitioning into the point of like getting to the deep serious songs and stuff like that. That's kind of where I would put it functionally in a
it has a little bit of Christian application in it, so I could see unique situations going toward the end of a lineup just for
you just gotta disagree with me now.
Always.
Keeping it spicy, okay? That's what my job is here. I'm like a jalapeno to your enchilada. No, I don't know. Let's cut that out.
No, but he is right. It does have aspects like the Christian application. We talk about that as being an outro kind of song. I think that's totally valid. Yeah. He's wrong, but it's valid. No,
it's wrong. It's my life story. It's what my wife tells me every day. No, she's great. So praiseworthy aspects of the song, the getting to the signs being accurate, I think, is one of the huge things. But also just like I was saying, the staging, that bridge actually feels like contemplative and making me actually think about it rather than just being presented at. Mm-hmm. I know you choreographed it, so it can be hard to critique or praise your own choreography here.
Yeah. No, I feel like at least in this, you missed the main girl. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I don't even remember what she did watching this, but because she was a little bit more central in our when we originally choreographed it, which that's why the chair's there.
Right.
I feel like it's kind of
Yeah.
Dead.
It
Dead
is a little
there.
bit weird because, like, I was noticing it felt like there's just 5 signers. It doesn't feel like there's a main
Yeah.
per
I
per
feel
se.
like she got lost in there.
No, and that might have been an early stop in the relationship, so it's hard to exactly say with the correct.
And it may have been because they only had 5 people. Because, like I said, this was the class and 25 people.
Exactly.
So I don't even know that our main ever really signed until the final course.
Right. So it felt a little bit more developing of them figuring out what does life look like for them today.
Yeah.
That makes
and
sense.
it was her reading the Bible, contemplation. She did really good because it was basically her just filling in the whole song of
characterization before
yeah.
you join in with the signs. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. No, and I agree. Because it has a good message to that end, but trying to get the main to understand it is part of the story arc. Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Are things you would critique as far as the choreography? Things you might, looking back, obviously, different take you might take on it.
I mean, not in general, because I mean, it's a sign language song, so it was
right. The signs don't change.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, critiques you might give? It's hard to critique because, the main aspect of it is sign language.
Yeah, which the signs were fine.
Right.
I don't know, it is like, personally, I'm not as much of a sign language guy for doing songs unless it like is auxiliary to the main message. Because if we have, like, for example, we were talking about Secret Ambition, where we had the dance in it. The dance was great, but the dance wasn't the whole of the song. So, like, looking at sign language songs in general, it's not a critique of this one in particular.
It's kind of like back in February when we did Flag February. It's like the song having only flags in it, it's really hard to actually have a storyline or something else that's communicated with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, having the signs be the main event, like, it feels more of like a functional thing to, like you said, we had the sign language class, and some people just like it because it looks beautiful, and like all very valid reasons. I don't know. I can't really criticize it for what it is, because what it is fine.
Yep. I think more people would help as far as the general staging, because it feels like the things that you can add to a sign language song are where people stand and kind of how the facial expression going forward, the storyline.
I mean, there was definitely some more movement in the original choreography,
Right.
which would look silly with
5 people.
5 people.
Go figure. No, and so that's nothing against this team in their place and whatever, but just recognizing that more people helps keep things interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Theologically, I thought it's interesting when you say live for today, that actually can be kind of a modern, like, just do what you want kind of message.
The whole YOLO / Carpe Diem.
Literally
kind of thing.
YOLO is from this, right? Like, it could have that feel, but rather than taking it for your own self-pleasure, it talks about what you're going to live for today is actually a joyous, let my little light shine is, I don't know, really cute, fun line, I think. Now, thoughts you'd give to the message of the song in that way theologically?
I know that one part not relating to the lyrics, but perhaps to the choreography, is the joy that's in it.
Yes.
I feel like that's a really easily overlooked thing because you have to kind of keep up energy and stuff like that. But part of what makes this really interesting is what we're talking about, like, living for today, and that being letting your little light shine, let it, your life be for Christ. It is not a grueling thing to do so. It should be a joyous thing. It should be, we should be happy about living for Christ. We should be happy about, like, finding the time and the energy to put forth into what the Lord has for us to do. And I think that is a really interesting theological aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, just continuing on, I mean, the whole chorus, I think, just states it, leaving the words in the past, and then resting in Jesus, knowing that your future is intact. It's not worrying about this. It's I'm living here in the moment for Jesus.
That's good. No, I think a solid message that I don't think many other songs really hit on. So even if we were to bring this back, even if we didn't do it as a complete sign language song, like, it has some redeemability in that way too. Cool. Clarity, difficulty. How do you sign style? Do you know the sign language style?
It's actually just...
It's just style.
It is literally fingerspell.
And style.
Stylishly.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I love it. All right, clarity. A lot of it's in the song itself, as opposed, because if you don't know sign language, you're just going to listen to it. But if you know sign language, you're just going to watch it. So I feel like it's inherently clear because we're literally spelling it out for them. Like,
literally. Following along with words.
Yeah. So it's hard to depict, if you would. But if you were to go based on, like, the storyline, focusing on the main character, I don't know. I feel like I have to just give it a 7 clarity. It's like, it's there. but a lot of it's dependent on the main character doing what they need to do to show the progression of not living through today to what that looks like in their own life.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to
it's
rate
so,
a song
it's
that's
hard
just so simple and clear.
There's a reason that we've been avoiding sign language songs because of this exact dilemma. And so, I don't know, like, I think it's fine clarity-wise. Like you said, we're following the lyrics. It's a signed song. Not really that much to it. I give it like I was thinking a 6 or a 7. I'm going to round down to a 6.
Just to disagree with me?
Just to disagree with you.
Cool.
I was gonna say this version. I think losing the whole main 6.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like that sound feels appropriate. Difficulty. One thing with sign language songs is you mentioned that generation pass from one tune to another. Part of the difficulty isn't just learning it as a team, but then learning it such that you don't lose some of that information as it goes on. And personally, I know I've lost a lot of my sign language understanding, or just kind of have had to make up signs from like, I don't know what this is, do it this way, I guess. And so I would, for that reason alone, just give it an 8. The actual like moving around and emotions, like you could say, are a little easier, but just the sign language alone feels like an 8.
Now, sign language tends to be pretty difficult inherently because you're actually literally doing words in a different language.
Right.
And you know what? I can actually attest to your degradation of signs because it was really funny when I was back here in 2020 for, during the that one thing that happened. I don't remember. What happened in 2020? Was there anything special? I don't know. It was an election year. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways.
We moved. Oh yeah, no. Beginning of the year, we moved to.
Oh, you moved?
Yeah,
that was probably it.
Yeah.
But during that time when I came down, there was we choreographed or re-choreographed, rejigged, however you want to word it, a solo version of Courtroom. And what's actually really funny about that is when I was doing the initial narrator parts of it, I was going more of like, you could say, a literal approach. And then when Samuel went to teach it to his team, he went with a significantly simpler approach.
Yeah, partly based on time and age, and we were dealing with other restraints at the time. Go figure.
And so, like, I'm not criticizing.
No, but it was way simpler.
It's an interesting thing that like it's that kind of stuff that as time goes on and it passes from generation to generation, it can become simpler or words can get missed here and there. And I think that just happens. Nobody's fault. It's not right or wrong. You can do it deliberately or by accident. I just think it's an interesting thing.
That's true.
But I don't know. We're talking about difficulty. So the signs, with it being inherently like a full song of signs, a little bit of blocking to kind of go along with the signs, I think that adds up a little bit of difficulty. I'd give it, thinking like a 7 difficulty.
I mean, you've done more than one sign language song, so I don't know how that compares to other ones.
I think this one specifically, again, I was trying to bring in the grammar. And just with the amount I feel like already got missed, probably an 8. I mean, the main message is there, but there's quite a few grammatical things that have already kind of been lost, and so maybe I made it a little too difficult.
No, make it harder.
No, there's a place for maybe easier and harder sign language songs, right? That totally, and especially if you're teaching a class to challenge people to maybe take the class before.
Most of these were seasoned people and trying to bring in some of the grammar of where we don't just follow the words, and so that definitely was difficult for some of them because they're not signing the words, they're signing a whole different sentence structure than what the English words are saying at the time.
Yeah, go figure.
So that definitely took some practice and brain restructuring.
Right, like you're learning a new language and supposed to just signing English. So then style wise, I think the song has really fun style, not just because the song's nice groovy and all that. And blocking could be an easy one to do, but like the way the signs are done feels appropriate and fun for the song. So I was gonna give it pretty good style, like 7. I feel like style's good.
Man, well, because what's funny is like when it comes to sign language songs, it's about performance. Like how much you sell it is really like what separates a good signed song from just an average mime song, sign song. But also something else that I have to add in is, we're talking about style. How do they break bounds? And so with sign language songs, there are entire like 6-minute songs that's just sign language. I know one off the top of my head is Awesome, which is basically like there's a person in front who says a thing, and then everybody else in the back says the thing a second time. And that goes on for 6 minutes, and oh my gosh,
Right.
it is the hardest song to watch.
It might be good to teach
There
people
may be
signs.
one more.
Oh, no.
There are plenty. There are plenty of those types of songs. That is one song that is off the top of my head.
Yeah.
First song comes to mind. But
Yeah. Well, and like when I did.
Anytime you say long song, arms wide open.
arms wide. But
Yeah.
it's that type of like droning, long, slow-paced song that I give like really low style points to.
I was thinking
This one-
We Are Not Ashamed is one that.
That was
even though
another one.
It's a long one, but we added. No, that was a good song. But one thing I had to do with the song is actually make some blocking changes and things that made sense. So, like, adding to the style to actually make it interesting to watch, not just snooze fest.
Right, and so like the ones that take the blocking and make it do interesting things and break up the song, like something that Kaylee, the old director of the Kansas team, so what Kaylee did is she had the America medley, and we only had like 6 or 7 people or something like that, where each person like unfolded and then they moved to different ways. They like went sort of cheated out opposites, so like a 45-degree angle opposites of each other at points, and like different people did different parts, and it just made it really dynamic. And that one I feel like is one of the most stylized sign language pieces I've seen, because they just blew it way out of proportion. And then then they would have the time where everybody would come out all together and do this big show-stopping number in the middle of the song. It's like those kinds of things that are like, it's juicy.
Yes.
Love it. And those are the kinds of things that I would
guys
say.
really like that word.
He likes that word a lot.
That was just today.
I learned from him.
But yeah, like those are the types of things that I look for in stylizing sign language songs, as well as other songs that have like, you have a sign language aspect and then like a choreography aspect. Those are the other ones. But pure sign language songs, this one gets a lot of points from me for how it chooses to break up the monotony of just standing still and signing, because you got like people moving positions, people turning around each other, walking around chairs. It's simple, it's dumb, but
Yep.
it's something.
Chair makes more sense when you don't lose the main.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And then like even in the chorus where, they talk about don't live in the past, and then they turn around. It's like, ooh, fancy.
Right? 'Cause in
It's such a small thing, but
in
it's something.
signage, if you're talking about future, it's ahead of you, here, and past. Like, so that you're actually not just talking about behind you, you're turning around and facing it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so those are the stylistic aspects I give this, which unfortunately I still, as much as I've hyped it up a lot, still give this like a 5 on style.
All right, so I've learned something new. Samuel's going to score the dance song slow. Charleton's going to score the song.
I guess
Whatever
that's the
flavor, yeah. You are welcome to disagree with us in the comments, okay? Like, you can just go yell at us about how we're wrong about our personal opinions, as the internet does. What are you going to give your own song on style, though?
I don't know.
It's hard, right?
It is hard.
Yeah, and of course your own personal biases get in the way. I know I do that all the time,
Right, so,
judging my own songs.
Perfectly
So
fair.
totally understandable.
Again, at least back then, this was fun to change some of the standards of sign
You're
language
breaking some
songs.
bounds, yeah.
I guess so. No. I'm gonna do 7.
Solid. I think it's a good choice.
Yeah.
Good number.
It's good
I
number.
like sign language songs.
Links down
Hey,
below.
I like sign language songs. They're just
Everybody can
unfortunately
say otherwise.
a little bit antiquated in modern day.
It's
But that's just my opinion.
Are you
Insecurity,
saying
could
an
say.
entire language is antiquated?
Ooh, ooh.
So anyway, links down below. We'll see if Charleton's alive next week. That burn. Oh man, I'm Samuel.
And I'm Charleton.
And I'm Rosalie.
Help me.
Breaking
Breaking the line.